I'm just gonna talk about shit. The title of this video, and I think this is one of the most unfair things that narcissists will ever do to their children, is narcissists love leaving their child unequipped and then blaming them for it. Also known as narcissistic scapegoating. I'll give you a few examples. Growing up, my parents never really spent time as a family. Maybe the largest extent of that was going on vacation together. But if I think back to, did my dad take me to the park, or like, did we do shit together, or did my mom ever spend much time with me or my brother or as a family? No, that was really a thing that my brother pushed for. Like, 1 week when we were like, I don't know, fucking 9 years old. And that didn't last. But as long as I could remember, I have never spent a weekend. I have never hung out with my family, anything like that. And that's mostly because whenever I am around them, they're either spazzing out, taking out their emotions in some negative way. Basically, my dad was always angry. He would always get into arguments. He was aggressive. My mom, truthfully, just always a cunt. Just always nagging. Always, you're not doing this well enough. Blah, blah, blah. You need to do this, this, and that. It's just really unpleasant energy to be around. But it really sucks because, like, when you spend time with your family, when you go out and you see your parents perhaps acting a certain way, being cordial, maybe making friends, that kind of gives you some feedback as to what to do to make friends, or how to get a. This is a bad thing. Maybe this is more with like a sibling, but maybe your sibling could kind of express to you, how do you work towards building relationships with friends? How do you work towards building romantic relationships? Yada, yada, yada. You know, like shit that family kind of should teach you. But by never spending any time together or doing anything in social settings or in family settings or doing anything fun, and just constantly punishing your kids don't really learn anything. They just learn to escape and avoid you because you are just unpleasant fucking energy. And it's really unfortunate because down the line, the child pays the price. The child doesn't know how to do X, Y, and Z. Maybe the child always needed dental care, but the parent never gave a shit. So the child literally just doesn't care about their shit now because they were never taught to care. They were never taught how to do it. They were never encouraged in any way. And the crazy thing is, with very toxic parents, specifically, I'm not saying my father is a narcissist. He has dementia at this point. I don't think he's giving that negative energy anymore. However, my mom, on the other hand, she constantly just makes you feel like you're the problem. Just it could be the most arbitrary shit, like she doesn't like the skin color of your girlfriend or something, and she will use that against you every single time there's some sort of argument. Just really fucked up shit where it's just like your child is vulnerable in this sense, and you choose to criticize them and just shit on them versus just support them and be happy for them. This is a really fucked up environment to be raised in. It's even more fucked up when you're blamed for turning out the way that you turned out. It's really unfortunate when it comes to something like trust. If your parents give you this notion that you can't even trust your own parents, how do you build that trust with random individuals? How do you how do you allow yourself to be vulnerable and allow yourself to like find people that are going to help you heal? It's such a vicious cycle. It just never ends. It's just this spiral of negativity. And it all stems from this one person being so fucked up from childhood, never taking any accountability, never analyzing anything that they've experienced in their life, and just placing all of that emotion and all of that trauma that they experienced, never actually thinking, was it justified, was it rational, was it okay to make people feel this certain way. They just throw that straight onto you, and then they say it's your fault. And it's like, no shit, you're handicapped, man. No shit, you can't fucking go out and live a normal life. It's because people fucking robbed the most precious experiences in your life and just left you to figure that shit out on your own down the line, when people are way less accepting of the fact that maybe you're not developed in a certain sense. Adults don't give a shit. Most people don't give a shit. Most people aren't even ready to, for example, be in a relationship. So to find somebody who's going to help you heal from the shitty experiences that you had, somebody who's going to be understanding, somebody who is okay with the fact that maybe you're not 100% perfect right now and is going to work alongside you, that shit doesn't fucking exist, at least in my experience. Ultimately, I'm making this video to express how toxic this cycle is, and how it just keeps us in the same exact position. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been trying self-improvement for the longest time. It's not that easy to just get out of bed and decide you're not gonna have insanely negative thoughts today. You're not gonna dive into insecurities and overthink like crazy, especially when these things are unconscious. Like, let's say you didn't get the best sleep. It's so fucked up, man. Nobody deserves that shit. Especially when you're a child. The problem is, the issue begins when you're a child, but as you grow into an adult, you're kind of just fucked. And like, people aren't as respectful or accepting of, flaws that you may have from literally being raised by a fucking narcissist and just being literally having the life sucked out of you by a fucking emotional vampire every single day. I can't even express to you how much anger living in an environment like that generates. And usually it's not because you never experience anything healthy. Your parents don't fucking show you healthy outlets. They don't spend time with you. They don't fucking teach you how to make friends. You're not introduced to people because they themselves don't have fucking friends, because all they do is fucking argue with each other. It's not fucking healthy, man. And you don't have healthy coping mechanisms. You don't have a way of expressing this stuff. Most people, and this is something that kind of shocked me. Sometimes I've read comments. I've spoken to one of my friends, and they suggest that making videos where you are vulnerable like this, like, they don't have the balls to do it. And to me, it's a little crazy, because I've kind of trained the skill already. And to some extent, the main reason I make these videos is because, honestly, I don't want to die and have all of this shit just have gone to waste. Like, if I suffered and my life fucking sucked, like, in some way, I don't want that to be a complete fucking waste, if that makes sense. So for me, I'm okay with that. But think of the kids that have never never got to spend any time with their parents. They probably hung out with friends who weren't healthy influences, most likely. If they didn't have a strong father figure, strong parental figure to look up to and, like, mimic them, they're probably going to go find friends. And what do teenage people do? What do friends do when you kind of hit that age where you realize that, like, oh shit, this is not a healthy environment, I have to get the fuck out? You resort to experimenting with stupid ass shit like drugs. Especially if you come from a toxic household. You're trying to escape those emotions. Those things, you don't have a healthy way of processing them. So one of the only ways to deal with them is to numb them. And then we learn. And that becomes ingrained in us. The younger you learn to escape those emotions, the harder it is to actually fucking not live that type of lifestyle. And I can tell you that because I made videos about quitting weed in the past, but weed is my vice. Whenever I get into an argument, whenever I listen to really fucked up shit with no justification, no rationale, it's just really toxic, what do? I go straight to smoke weed. Because that makes me feel way less shitty. Because what did I do when I was, I don't know, when I started fucking 19 years old in college and like shit was insanely fucking stressful? After I got into an argument and there was just no rationale, fucking shitty day, long day, difficult day, come home, argument. What are you supposed to do? How do you process that emotion and just like not have it ruin your day, you know? It's really difficult. And it's fucked up. Nobody deserves that, man. I literally cannot sleep thinking about this type of shit, man. So I had to come on here and make a video. I hope you got something out of this, and I love you. Stay strong. Fuck these people, man. They don't define us. As a human being, it is very easy to let the outside influence everything, to let people's judgment influence everything. But unfortunately, you have to teach yourself that these people's input usually is way more negative than it is helpful. Whether that be in the most overbearing sense, there's a difference between patience, love, and that sort of stuff, and then just being insanely overbearing, not trying to understand, not being patient, not being supportive at all. And ultimately, a narcissistic parent is not supportive at all. And it starts from a very young age. And you'll find this through things like your parent literally just never spending any time with you. In my case, my mom loves being on the phone with her friends. But when it comes to spending time with their family, when it comes to doing literally anything that isn't just a chore and expecting people to run errands for her, there was never anything. My mom's idea of spending time together was sitting in the car, bored out of my mind for 4 hours while she went shopping. And the older I got, I tried to stay in a vehicle for longer than 5 minutes with that lady. It's impossible. It's always the same script. They know how to push your buttons. They're just trying to push your buttons because from a very young age they were invalidated, they were shit on, and they believe this is normal. It's so deeply rooted, it's on an unconscious level that they don't even care about how they make you feel. Anyways, there's no easy answer to living with these people. There's no easy answer to having a family member who is like this. All we can do is try our best to become the person we're actually supposed to be, and not really let that devilish bullshit influence us so much. I know it's really easy said than done. But the more we can try to stick to the path that God has chosen for us, that God is trying to show us, despite this fucking demon coming into our life and just, I don't even have words for it, trying to set everything on fire, make it hell. The more we can try to stick to that righteous path, the better our lives are going to be. And it's really fucking hard right now. It's really hard to build that habit. But with the right support, and believe me, I don't know how to get that support. But maybe this is just the delusions I tell myself. I know that with the right support, people who are patient, loving, caring, allow you to be vulnerable, allow you to have that safe space where you feel like you're loved, the more we can push towards that direction, whether it be through being productive, whether it be through spreading a message like this, whatever it may be, following our passion, the better our lives gonna be. But man, we gotta get out of this shit. And I fucking wish I knew how. Anyways, that's the video. Thank you.